JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 30th of June 2022, guys. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this last trading day of June. So we finished with the first month of summer. If you're wondering where did it go, I'm the wrong person to answer that because I have no idea, and the time flies, and well, we're done with the first month of June, guys. So before we jump into the charts, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimers. So yep, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFDbrokers.com website, which you can check out, and I believe you can find some useful information here. So, guys, jumping into the charts now, the first one I want to pick up here is Nikkei 225, and look at this. We broke the upside line, we failed to move above this barrier. I talked about this 27,062 zone. I said that if, and this is one of those moments, I said that yes, there is still potential for for the buyers to kind of step in. We were still holding above that 21-day EMA, but we needed that confirmation break above that barrier, above this 27,062 territory, above that 100 day EMA, but as you can see, instead we broke the upside line and fell back below this 26,666 territory. So I said to you that if we drop below that hurdle, then there is potential for this one to move lower. Of course, at the moment, I would say yes, I'll be leaning a little bit more towards the downside. The idea that I talked about previously of seeing this one maybe as a range here, it's still valid, don't get me wrong, but of course ideally I would have liked this one to move maybe all the way towards the upper side and then get a hold up here and then drift back down. But okay, the market does what it wants to do, so what it thinks it's better to do for us. So yeah, and we drifted lower, so okay, but still this is working out for now, right now, okay, because basically what I said, that if we break this barrier, then yes, there is a potential, there is some potential for this one to move lower. We're currently, yes, we're currently kind of, we're closed already. But going into tomorrow, let's see how the European and the US sessions are going to play out. Because if those suddenly recover, maybe we could see some recovery here as well. So basically, you always need to kind of keep an eye on the futures, on Nikkei futures, because those kind of react to the European indices, to US indices. So logical. Obviously, the same works actually vice versa as well. So. But basically, if those continue to slide, we could see Nikkei drifting further south. And from the technical side, I would say it this way: as long as it stays below that 26,666 territory, I'll continue aiming slightly to the downside. If it climbs, and this is where I need to remove this this upside line, no longer needed. But if the level here, the breakout level, still remains the same, if we push through this barrier, this 27,062 territory, then yes, this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and potentially more buyers could join in. Shanghai Composite, very quickly on that one. This one's a little bit more promising. Look at this. I mean, so far, so good. No complaints about this one. I mean, look, we retraced back down and said that if we stay above this upside line, or in general above this whole area, we're near the upside line, near this 3,356 territory, and near that 200-day EMA. If we rebound from somewhere from that area, then yes, the upside scenario is still valid. If you're a little bit more on the careful side, keep an eye on yesterday's high, guys, near the 3,400 and well, let's round it up here, 15. If we push through it, then yes, I'll go further north, where my target is the 3,500 level, and then we'll take it from there. The German index, DAX. Okay, so this one is, yes, it's you see it's a bit of a mess here. The idea here that I mentioned in terms of the upside is kind of working out, because basically I said that if we do move above that 13,378 territory right there, this is at least above that level, then yes, we'll go slowly, to the upside. Then I'll aim for that 13,444 zone, and if that gets cleared, we have another obstacle on the way higher. Of course, we always have obstacles on the way, and we have that 21-day EMA, which could, of course, if it holds, then yes, another slide could be possible. However, if it breaks, then, well, this could open the door towards a larger correction to the upside, because don't forget that we are still trading below this downside line, medium-term downside resistance line, tentative, of course, but nevertheless a downside line. However, all that aside, because we are shifting closer to this key support zone, and to be honest, let me just have a look at the cash index. Actually, I haven't looked at this because, look, I mean, yesterday we closed above June low, which is around the 12,912 zone approximately. The cash index right now is trading at around 12,857, so we are confirming a new low, guys. Okay. So let's see where this is going to open up today, but at the moment this is not really looking very good, very promising. So in a way, if we continue, let's say, to trade below that 12,912 territory, then yes, further declines are possible, because we already have confirmed, well, we will confirm a forthcoming lower low once this opens up. Actually, no, let's not use word as will, but let's see where we're gonna open up. This is probably a bit more correct. If we open up below this 12,912 territory, and we continue to trade below it, then yes, my next target is the lowest point of March, near the 12,439 level right there. IBEX, this whole week I'm actually talking about the Spanish index. I mean, basically, sometimes it's good to, if this is not, let's say, your preferred index to trade, if you are trading indices, then certainly you can leave it out, but we do like to look for opportunities in different other places. So yeah, and then here specifically, I mean, I kept on talking about this week about this idea of maybe seeing a range, or maybe a bit of well, initially we were kind of seeing this as a consolidation, because we had the prevailing trend before entering this range. The prevailing trend was to the downside. So in a way, according to all the TA rules, these such kind of structures tend to break to the downside, and yeah, we could see, a move further south. However, don't get me wrong, it could still, let's say, drift lower here, find support, and then rebound, and and then move back up. So until we get a clear drop below this 8,025 territory, then yes, we will continue remaining neutral, keeping the downside scenario in the back of our heads, but we will have to be neutral, because anything can happen here. I mean, yourselves, guys, you trade, so yeah, it's sometimes frustrating. So but once, let's say, if we do break this hurdle, this is from where I'll get a little bit more comfortable with the downside, because I'm not saying that we might not have a false breakout. We always need to kind of keep in mind that, but at least this way I can justify why I am bearish. Why? Because this is confirming a new lower low, and then yes, I mean, this could drift further south. So this is at least, and then let's say if it doesn't work out, at least I'll have my stop loss in place, which will allow me not to lose out even more. Nasdaq 100, guys. So Nasdaq 100, and with this one, it is yeah, look at this. I mean, yesterday we've rebounded somewhat. We pushed back up, but we stayed below that 11,751 territory. So in a way, I would say this is a very bearish indication. Maybe not okay, maybe you shouldn't use the word very, but is a bearish indication because this is, yeah, it's still trading below this hurdle and it's still struggling with, to push back above it. So, and the cash index, to be honest, is also trading at around 11,530 zone, something like that. So yeah, we are getting closer to this. These two areas here, these two levels. Let's see if they can provide some support, but initially I'm going to aim for those. If those get broken, then my next target is the lowest point of June near the 11,037 mark. The S&P 500. Okay, so this one is, so I need to adjust this a little bit because basically previously I talked about this and I said that if we push above this 38.38 barrier, if you remember, I said that I'll aim higher. Initially I'll aim for that 21-day EMA, but then if that gets overtaken, my next target is this downside line. Well, I would say this worked out probably 60% of the idea. So we did push above this barrier, climbed higher, tested the 3,900 level, the 21-day EMA. We pushed a little bit higher, and then we drifted back to the downside. So now let's adjust this, all this what we have here. Basically, this is what we're going to mark right now. If you're looking for some downside, then there is of course possibility for a further slide because the cash index is also trading right now around the 3,782 zone, something like that. So basically below yesterday's close. So we are on the right track. Everything's actually working out nicely here. We drifted back below this 38 zone, and we continue to trade below it. Look at this. Yesterday we found resistance around here, and we drifted to the downside. Not much, but hey. Still, and the cash index right now is sliding further, so at the moment everything's kind of working out in that favor and in that kind of direction. So with the upside, I would like to see maybe a break of this downside line. Actually, I do understand that we could be missing out on a bit of territory here. I would say this way. Let's put it this way: if we somehow maybe climb back above this inside swing high, inside swing low of the 27th of June, which is around the 3,889, or let's round it up, 3,890 zone, which also kind of coincides with the 21-day EMA. So if we climb above this barrier, then yes, I will maybe consider a larger correction here to the upside. And then if this gets broken, then yes, certainly higher levels could be met. But at the moment, if you're looking for some upside and you're looking for some maybe a reassurance or something like that, maybe this level could work out here better. Just because, like I said, at the same time, we would, on a break of that level, we would climb above the 21-day EMA. DXY, the dollar index. So the dollar index is, yeah, it pushed higher. It broke the downside line, and most importantly, it broke the 105 zone. So the only thing is that we didn't stay above it, or actually, sorry, we stayed above it, but today we're seeing a bit of a retracement. There we go. Let's put it this way: I'm still positive on this one, especially if it climbs back above this 105 territory. So if we do push back above it, then yes, of course, I'll aim higher, and my next target is the highest point of June near the 105.79 zone right there. Now, in terms of the downside, now this downside line has to go, but the level stays the same. 103.85, approximately around here. I would need to see a drop below this area in order to aim for this upside line taken from the low of the 10th of February. Gold. Gold is tricky. Yesterday, look at this. I mean, we had a strong move to the upside, and by the end of the trading session, it drifted back to the downside. However, this 1817 level continues to, well, do its job, actually. Look at this. I mean, we keep on holding here, and yes, we had a false breakout yesterday, but that's okay. We just kind of still, the bulls managed to lift the commodity back above this hurdle, and we're currently kind of struggling with this area. So if you're looking for some upside, guys, I still would say that I need to see a break of this downside line taken from the high of the 17th of June, and then yes, we could consider maybe a bit of a move to the upside. Let me just put an arrow maybe here just for our future reference. So something like this basically. And yeah, if we're looking for some lower levels, then certainly yes, a drop below this 1817 territory is needed, and a stronger move below it is needed. And then my next target is the 1807. If that 1807 fails to provide support, well, guess what? I mean, further declines could be possible. WTI oil, very quickly on that one. So we corrected. Look at this. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so 114.79 level on my chart. On your chart might be maybe a little bit of different numbering, but let's put it this way: the highest point of 2011 here. I was telling you that if we do climb back above this upside line, my next target is this this highest point of 2011, which we've almost managed to reach. But to be honest, I'll take that. Sometimes you just need to kind of, if you do have a target, and let's say it's not really, it's missing a few points before reaching it, I always say take your profits, guys. I mean, enjoy your profits. This is what you need to do. Enjoy your profit. Okay, it's not maybe, it could go higher. Okay, that's fine, but you never know at that point in time. So and like for example here, it's a great, like I said, still a great achievement. Here we almost managed to travel to this 114.79 territory, and there we go. We reversed back down, and we ended up back on this upside line taken from the low of the 2nd of December. So if we are looking for some lower levels, then I'm still keeping an eye on this 108.33 territory. So if we drop below it, then yes, I'll consider maybe a bit of a move lower. Of course we have the obstacle here on the way lower, this 100-day EMA. But yeah, I mean, if that gets cleared, don't get me wrong, I mean, this could slide further south. Now for the upside, at this point in time, I would say this way, that I will stick to this 114.79 territory. Yes, we drifted back down, but to be honest, I'd rather be safe than sorry, and that's why I will just keep an eye on this hurdle for the upside right now, because here in this point I really don't know what's going to happen. It might start oscillating around the 21-day EMA, so basically moving sideways around, just around that, circling that 21-day EMA, and that could be just a big frustration for some of the traders who don't like to trade such scenarios. But again, if this is something that you like to do, okay, wonderful, that's great. I mean, you be the judge. But yeah, for me, like I said, I just don't like to enter here because it's way too tricky. Ethereum, very quickly on that one. Look at the slide. Look at this downside line working nicely. It's still providing that resistance. So great. Okay, everything's perfect. I would say, yeah, the downside scenario is still on the table, obviously, and this is once we break the downside line, and once we push somewhere above this 1,282 territory, then yes, I'll consider maybe a bit of a move to the upside. Until then, yeah, I'm just gonna observe this, and with the downside as well. I mean, I would need to see probably a drop somewhere below this area in order to kind of go lower. This area is roughly around that 1,043 territory, and then yes, if we drop below it, then yeah, I'll aim for the downside again. Now jumping into a few pairs, AUD USD, guys, look at this beautiful test of this upside line. I talked about this and I said that I'm still keeping an eye on this pair because the pair seems to be coiling up, but as long as it remains in between these two lines, I am just not touching it. I'm just observing this one, and to be honest, look at this. I mean, it's getting closer to this upside line, so maybe we could see a break of this one. However, I'm not rushing into this because it could still rebound higher. It could move back to this 21-day EMA, this downside line, and kind of get a hold up around here and then maybe drift back down. So yeah, you need to kind of consider all these options. And at the moment, if we do break this upside line and we fall below the 0.6850 territory, yes, this will confirm, well, I wouldn't say actually a mini lower low, because preferably a drop below the 0.6829 level right here, which is the lowest point of May. That would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and then yes, further declines are possible. So in other words, there is potential for the downside, but some confirmation breaks are needed. Until we get those breaks, I'm just observing this one. AUDCHF, guys, very quickly on that one. So look at this. If you remember a while ago, I said that if we break this upside line, my next target is somewhere in this highlighted territory. Well, to be honest, all the levels got tested. So mission accomplished, great result. Like I said, I picked up on this pair a while ago, and I said that this is where what I'm gonna aim for. I said to then honestly that I really don't know exactly which specific level could work out here better, and that's why I've highlighted them all. And well, there we go. I mean, we've managed to reach the first one, then the second one, and then the third one. And then on the third one, we are kind of finding good support. We're finding good, good hold up. This level is around the 0.6540. It's actually 50. Yep, 0.6550. There we go. Approximately around there. So we found good support around there. We rebounded, but we're still in this little range, or little territory, this highlighted territory. Now, if you're looking for some upside, guys, of course, some of you are kind of hoping maybe to see and try to capture a reverse, a counter trend trade here. Obviously, very, very tempting, but at the moment, I am going to be very careful. Let's say if we do climb above yesterday's high, at least, then yes, I will consider maybe a move to the upside a little bit here. Not something drastic, maybe up until this 21-day EMA, depending on how it's going to trade and where it's going to trade, or maybe a little bit lower than that. But if it starts falling below 0.6550 territory, yep, that may open the door towards further declines. And the next target will be this low of the, or actually lowest point of January, near the 0.6484 zone right there. So this is where I'm going to put the arrow. Like I said, very, very interesting. Like I said, good result here. Quite happy with it. Now let's see what we can do with this after. USD CAD. Okay, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this one because I've already mentioned all of it, and it's not really doing much, to be honest. It did rebound from this hurdle, this 1.2861. But I said that what I said yesterday, that I am gonna I'm gonna wait for this level here, the 1.2906, because from this level I would get a little bit more comfortable. And this is exactly why. Look at this. I mean, good hold up here, and it's currently struggling. It doesn't know what it wants to do, or should I say, the bulls and the bears don't know what they want. Who's going to be the more the stronger one? Who's going to outpull which? So yeah, that's why it's at the moment it's like a tricky one. So if we, I'm still keeping an eye on the same level, this 1.2906 for the upside. If we jump above it, then yeah, more buyers could join in. But for the downside, of course, I'm still keeping an eye on that 38.2% retracement on the Fibonacci, which is roughly around that 1.2861 level. Also, what to keep an eye on today from the U.S. in terms of economic data, well, keep your eyes on the core and headline PCE price index, PCE index figures. So that's something that the Fed watches carefully, more than the inflation rate. So PCE, yep, check out the economic calendars for that, guys. And it will be quite an it could be quite an interesting day for the dollar, for the US indices. Also, we have the Canadian dollar, Canadian dollar related news. We have the GDP month-on-month figure coming out from Canada. So yeah, and that's something to keep an eye on. And I think there's some ECB, President Lagarde speaking, so some news around there, but that's, I need to check that calendar. But anyway, in general, it could be quite an interesting day. Tomorrow Canada is closed, so today, could be that kind of last day before some activity. USD CHF, guys. Okay, look at this. I mean, this. Let's call it the lower side of the range for now, because we dropped below it yesterday and we climbed back above it again. So look at this, guys. It's still holding, so I'm still not giving up on the idea of seeing maybe this one as a range, but of course, I do understand that with the more we kind of test this hurdle, this area, the more it kind of it could end up in a break, and we saw a few false breakouts already. So let's see what's going to happen here. If this is not going to end up being as a neckline of this double top pattern, but too early for that. Let's keep an eye on it, and let's see how all this is going to play out, guys. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one because, like I said, it's the same analysis. I've mentioned this before in my previous videos. So yeah, same balance and the same thing. GBP USD. Okay. Drifted below this 1.2162 territory. I spoke about that level, and there we go. Great. Good news for the sellers. But now we are seeing this morning, we're seeing a bit of a reversal. However, the 1.2162 territory is providing that resistance. So if it can continue doing that, then I'm still going to aim lower. I'm still going to aim to the downside. My next target will be this the lowest point of June, at 1.1934. If we climb and stay above this 1.2162 territory, then maybe we could consider here a bit of a retracement, a larger retracement to the upside, but to be honest, I'm not really very comfortable with the upside here, so I'm just going to leave it. Euro CHF, look at the massive slide we had here, guys, and look at this. I mean, we broke the upside line and we drifted lower, and we managed to reach all the way here this level, the lowest point of March, near the 0.9973 zone. So we even overshot it by a little bit. This morning, we're seeing a bit of a retracement. Of course, it is kind of it is just begging to for buyers to come in here, but at the moment, guys, I think that the buyers are being very, very careful here. And to be honest, if this if it falls back below the 0.9973 territory and stays below it, then well, I'll continue targeting the downside. For the upside, I would need to see at least maybe a push back above this barrier right there, this 1.00888. If we climb back above it, maybe then yes, I'll consider a bit of an upside move. However, don't get me wrong, I might re-look at this level, depending if we will see a strong reversal back to the upside. I will pick up on this later, but I want to see how this is going to play out, because maybe this level is not going to be the one. Maybe it's something from here. But again, I need to see how it's going to play out around here. But for now, like I said, I'm being very careful with the upside. Because at the moment I'm still leaning a little bit more towards the downside. And finally, EURUSD, guys. Okay, so this, I cannot stress this enough, how well this is playing out in terms of this idea of which I've drawn here, that this could be a rising wedge pattern, and we broke the lower side. As I mentioned this already yesterday, we fell below that 1.0460 territory as well, and we stayed below it, and we saw a bit of a retracement this morning, but can we stay below it? Let's wait and see, because at the moment, yeah, it's quite an interesting one, because I would say if we do stay below it, then yes, I'll continue aiming lower. If we climb above this barrier and stay above it, this is a little bit something for which I will push aside, and I'll just continue monitoring the situation here. And also this 1.0636 level that I kept on talking, maybe it will have to be adjusted again. At the moment, for me, it's with the upside, it's a bit a tricky one, because like I said, all this area here could be just also very difficult to interpret. But let's say at the moment, if we do start breaking this downside line from here, I will get a little bit more comfortable with the upside, and then yes, I will maybe consider a move higher. But I'll get to that point, guys, if we do get this break of this downside line. So thank you very much for watching, listening, guys. I really appreciate your time, your views, your likes, you guys, everything. I really appreciate that. Your comments after the video is, after the video session. So yeah, really appreciate that. So I cannot, like I said, I cannot stress enough how thankful I am. But anyway, if you want to join me tomorrow morning, as always, 6 o'clock GMT time, guys. Today, be careful. You know, we could see a lot of volatility. Keep your stop losses in place. Don't overtrade, and yeah, everything will be fine, guys. So, thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.